యోగేష్.
అదే ఇంకో కంపెనీ కూడా ఓపెన్ చేసింది, అదే స్టార్ట్అప్ కంపెనీ.
Okay, కానీ మనకి ఇక్కడ యువర్ స్పీకర్ ఇస్ నాట్ వర్కింగ్, ప్లీజ్ చెక్ యువర్ కనెక్షన్ ఆర్ యూజ్ ఏ డిఫరెంట్ స్పీకర్ అంటుంది. ఇది నెట్వర్క్ అంటుంది.
సారీ. సో వీళ్ళతో ఇదే సాగు ఏదో వీళ్ళు జాయిన్ కావాలి టైంకి. Okay, so templates means Mahesh, the pre-defined templates. See, if you consider a robotic enterprise framework, So, and background process, orchestration process, transactional process. So these are all the predefined templates. So see, if you consider background process, so this. Hey, nothing is there. Then what is the difference? Nothing, right? Create a process that starts in the background and can run concurrently with other process for as long as it doesn't use a and interaction. So if I create a background process, so if I define any process, so that process also will work, and this process works in the background, and so there is no UI interaction with that.
Sorry?
Hmm? So that is background process. So you don't need to worry about all these templates, Mahesh. Okay, you have to worry only. So this is called RE framework, or this is called a RE framework. Okay. So what is RE framework? A robotic enterprise framework. Or what is RE framework? A robotic enterprise framework. See, some people will call RE framework, some people will call RE framework. So okay. So we'll speak anyway. Like no, we need to speak a lot about. So yesterday we we are facing some issue, right? So we tried nearly 1 hour in order to resolve that. So we'll see now. What is that? Get transaction item. Correct. So now So why I'm connecting to orchestrator? In order to get the name of the queue. So this is queue name. See, in this queue, I'm going to take flowchart. So in this flowchart, I am going to take what and all? Get queue items. So in get queue items, so what is the queue name? And queue item states. I want to get in progress and successful. Okay, first we'll see one item and control K. Queue items. See here in this queue, see like now in progress there are 11 items and in success there are 78 items. See, I don't need to process all these success like no the process we are like no, the transaction items which are successfully completed. Right now, see we need to get like now what all the queue items are in progress status. That is the reason I took this. So now I'm going to take one flow decision. This flow decision will tell you queue items dot rows. Sorry, queue items dot count is greater than 0. Okay, so if it is greater than 0, so we will process it. So I'm going to take one sequence. So in this sequence, so we have a data which is available in what is that? For each, correct? So we have to take for each. And then where is the data is available? The data is available in. So the object would be, tell me what we have to take. Queue item, right? Okay. So now see here we have a like no data for each row it will be Q item only. So whenever you want to set so whenever you want to set what is that set transaction status or what is that to process yeah like no for each and every item by using get queue items based on the status. See already like now we are in like now get transactions what is that yes get transaction item will work only on if the transaction item is having the status in new. Okay, so whenever we are taking it and it will be in a in progress status. So some of the items which are not in progress like now which are in progress status only. So either we have to change it to new state. So otherwise like now we have to delete all the like now queue items which are in the in progress status. Again like now we have to create a new queue sorry new, like now we have to load the data into the queue and then we have to process it. These are all the options. So postpone get transaction item. So here first we see what are all the items count is greater than 0. So if false means Terminal workflow, we will try to use it and see whether we will able to pay. So exception. New exception. So we are going to throw new exception of no data found. And if it is more than this, what to do? So yes. Get transaction item. You see that how we will get it. So here the queue we want to process. This is a queue and the output is control K T item. That means transaction item items. And then so here I'm going to set transaction status. So it is T item. So what we are going to set? So we are going to set to this as success. Already it is there, success. Okay, so we don't need to make any changes in this. Now run it. No transaction date. I told, right? So if the data is like now, if this transaction item is in new state, exceptional target of the invocation, then only that is null. That is the reason, like no, we are unable to process it. So whenever you are attending an interview, for example, if the data is in progress status, okay, for some reason, like no, if it is not able to process by the queue, and all the items are in progress status. So how do you proceed further in order to take the data out of that? So we have to do delete all items from the queue. So we should not process those items. Got it? Because when you use the get transaction item, so automatically, like now it will take the transaction item will be in new state. So here it is, status is only failed or success. That's it. So there is no other states has been set. Okay. So come over here. So in this, delete. Few items. Now just go over here. Refresh it. So in progress items, we are unable to delete it. So here we do not have option to change status of in progress only. So we cannot, we have to do manually. select manually. So we try to do something. So there is no removal options. See, usually, like now, if we have admin rights, then we should have admin right. Okay, only view permissions. We do not have any edit permissions on this view. Okay, so we'll leave it like now. We don't need to consider this because if we have permissions, we can like now do some removing the data like manually. So now what we do? So we have seen get queue items and like now delete queue items. But what we have to see is how. Okay, now Excel application scope. So now I'm going to load the data into the queue. Okay. So in the Excel application scope, data extraction, double click on this. We'll see what the data is. So sheet 2. Okay. So model and price. So we will use it. Desktop. So this is data extraction. So I am going to take read range activity. So and read the data. So where the data is available under sheet 2, right? Sheet 2. So here it is. Control K. dt underscore q. Go to variable. dt underscore q is project. So after this, Excel application scope. Come back. So Excel application scope is over. So now we will load the data into the queue. In here. So in the bulk add queue items, data table we have to pass and queue name. Okay, so both of them have been. So now after adding it, get transaction. So in get transaction, we have to pass queue name, and here, so control K, T item, transaction item. So now so in flow decision, I'm going to put condition. Now it is transaction item is nothing. So if the transaction item is nothing, so what I do, so here I will change the condition. Why? Because transaction item is not nothing. So if it is like not nothing in the sense, it will work in a reverse way. So then it will go and terminate the process. Otherwise, it will go and execute it. See, I'm not specifying any like no conditions and all. So anyway, like now we have to work this queue in RE framework as well. So rather than wasting our time, so here, what is the transaction item we have to pass over. Okay. So and then so again it has to take all the data from the queue and it has to process. So we have to set the process as like no success, because we are like no usually in the real time like no when you are working on RE framework we will see that, but like no here in order to know that like no what are the what are the what is that activities are there and what is the importance of each and every activity, how we will use each and every activity in the real time. Okay, before going to RE framework, like now we should know that how it works. That is our intention here. So now do this. Okay, run it. See, now it is processing each and every item. So yesterday we did not like now process it because So when I check it, so there is one transaction item on top of like no one queue item. So after that, like no, I go and like no change it, or like no, I just removed that activity. So we did not use it. So it was hidden somewhere else. So we did not provide any relation to that. That is the reason it is always getting that error. We are unable to identify. So and then like no today when I worked, I got to know that like no we like no inside like no here in this area there is one activity like no which is there which is not used. See how it is processing. Transaction started and transaction ended. So you just go here and refresh it. So view transactions. We will. So whenever it is adding a like now what is that? Whenever it is processing the queue, right? So how we will process, the queue items will be processed from the last items. Hey, what happened? 300 items. See, it is everything is processing. Make it a success. And if you see that, like now go to previous page. See. So it is making come back again. See, okay, now it is like now in this page. See that how. So how fast it is. So there are 300 items. How come 300 items came into here? See. So whenever it takes the item from the queue, it will be in progress. Okay. While like at the time of loading the data into the queue, it will be in new state. Once the data has been like once like when it goes for in progress status, like no, the transaction item will go when you call get transaction item. So, do remember this. It is very important in interviews. So you have to explain. You have to explain that. So when you call get transaction item, like no, then only it will go for in progress. Once it is in progress, then it will go for either it is failed state or it is a success state. See, it is after that like now after processing all, there is no data in the queue. So they will ask one more thing. So how do you check that whether like no data is available in queue? Okay, so after you processing the transaction item equal to, or you have to put the condition like transaction item is nothing to check how you will check it whether the data is available in a queue or not. So you have to tell that like no, see here we did not in the flow decision transaction item is nothing, or okay that is the what is it condition what is the condition we put, so that like no function name we have to tell that what is the condition you put. That is all about queues. Uh, okay. now queue. So add transaction item. There is one more thing. What is the difference between add queue item and add transaction item? This is also one of the very important activity. See, add queue item is for it will add the data into the queue one by one, but like no, and add transaction item also similar to add queue item, but when you are adding the data using add queue item, the transaction item, the status of the transaction item will be in a new state. This is very important, you should remember it. Okay, and when you add like no, so whenever you are adding the data by using add transaction item, the status of the transaction item is in progress. Okay, that's what you have to remember it. Okay, so here transaction information, like you will provide here itself. Okay, that the transaction information so how you will add it? The same. Okay, so where the data is available, so we have to use for each transaction information, right? So here, like now we have to use queue items, right? Queue items dot this transaction. So previously we used one what is that like no? So after loading the data into the queue, we used get queue items, and like now we use it, right? So that information we have to pass it to so the data is available in the data table. So we have to use for each loop, and then we have to pass the value. Yeah. Okay. So that will be a transaction item. Collection of additional information about specific transaction item that is to be added. This information stored in the item and used during a transaction processing. That's it. It is a so if you want to know in detail what we have to do, we have to go to so we have your data in a we'll see only one item of this example, and we will go for next topic. So what is this? For each. Okay. So the data is available in a data table, right? So I'm not going to process this bulk like now add items because we already done this. So I use sequence here. So now we have to use for each. So we have your data in the data table, right? So here dt underscore q. So now we need to pass the data okay. So add transfer. In this Q name is one of the input and in the transaction. So what we want to pass? So there are two values, right? So current row dot item of models dot. So another one is price. So current row dot item of price dot post. Okay. So what is the output? So already we have a T item now. We will use the same T item. So and then after this, like what we do? So we do set transaction status. Here T8. So here, like now for diff, like now we have seen what is that successful, right? Now I will see fail. So in the if I set a if I select the status as fail, I have to provide the details. I want to process IN models. Okay. So error type is business exception. So reason. Okay. So why it is failing? So we have to tell the reason why. Like now it is going for a business exception and why it is going for a application exception. So error type reason what we see. Testing. Okay. So I want to like now do it for only one time. Okay. Just go here and refresh it. Hmm. Okay. So here, refresh this. It is process actually. See. So each and every all the values are failed. Sorry, success, and only this one only we like no we did fail, right? So here exception. Okay, and you want to know the details of like no what and all we kept. See, I want to process. See, details is nothing but I want to process high-end mobiles. So here, the reason, what is the reason we gave for testing? So this is how it will be. That is the like now how to use add transaction item. Okay, that's all about queues. Hey friends, do you have any concerns regarding queues? Is it clear? So now I'm stopping it. I don't want to add all the like, we already processed and see that. Okay. So whenever you see, most of the interview questions are, some of the people will ask only on queue. Okay. So in that case, you have to explain like no for each and everything, like now what is each and every activity, you should know what is the output and what is the input. And now so now we are going to see with this. Okay. So we have one more workflow called state machine. What is state machine? This is very important. Like no, before RE framework introduced, so we usually like no develop the process using state machine and flowchart. Okay, so docs.uapath.com. We have to see state machine. What is state machine? state machine is nothing but so I will tell you general definition of state machine. So both are saying the same. A state mission is a well-known paradigm for developing programs. The state mission activity along with the state transition. The other activities can be used to build state mission workflow programs. This topic provides state mission. So state mission works like whenever you would like to develop some complex applications like automations, it should have some see, for example, we'll have a vendor missions like in offices we'll have some vendor missions. What they do, they will, so whenever you insert a coin, that means maybe some 10 rupees notes or 10 rupees coins or 5 rupees coins or 20 rupees notes or so whatever it may be. So in the mission there will be lot of food items biscuits, okay, or chocolate. So whenever you would like to whenever you would like to buy some item, so you will go to the vendor mission and you will insert some 10 rupee note. So according to that, you have to enter some code. Okay, that code should be if the value of the product is 10 rupees, so you have to enter that code only. So because you have put 10 rupees only into the vendor mission, so you should enter always maybe below 10 rupees or equal to 10 rupees, a fourth of items you would like to buy. If you want to more, so you have to insert more, you have to add more money, correct? So whenever you go and enter it, so after typing the code, so it will identify, and if it is there, it will it will go and pick the value and pick the product and it will give it to you. So that is the state mission, how it works. State mission means it will go. Give me a minute. So it will work like okay, so we are inserting the data and it will check the T code and it will go and pick the right item, and again it will give the that product to the user. So there is a number of transactions that are happening, right? From one state to another state, because whenever you are adding the value into that, okay, that is one of the state. And after that, so you are entering some value and it will go and pick the right product. and again it is giving the result like no, what is that, like that item to the user. So there are a lot of transactions are happening like no, between adding the like no money into the machine, like no selecting the product and that product to the user. That is how like no state machine works. State machine will have uh, different states, and like at the same time there are different transitions. So the transition is nothing but, so now we are in initialized state, that means in the starting state. So once like no we are starting we are like no after the starting state we will move to next we have to move to the next state, correct? So that is called a transition. So where we are going to like no which like no flow needs to be executed after that, so that is called transition. So state machine state and like no this is fault. But so state, each and every state machine will have a state, one state that like no one state like no a transition from one state to another state, and we'll have one more state called final state. So a state can have entry and exit actions. A state configured as final state may have only the entry action. When a workflow instance enter a state, any activities in the entry action execute. When the entry action is complete, that triggers for the state transitions or schedule. When a transition to another state is confirmed, the activities in the so when a transition to another state, so when see once the transition is happened, so whenever it is navigating to another state is confirmed, then activities in the exit action are executed. If the state transitions are back to the same state after the exit action completes, the activities in the transitions action executed. Then the new state is transition. So the entry actions are scheduled. A transition may have a trigger and condition, then followed by action. These are the three things. Yes. Okay. Transition's trigger is scheduled when the transition secure state is entry action is complete. Typically, the trigger is an activity that waits for some type of event to occur, but it can be any activity or no activity at all. So once the trigger activity is complete, then the condition. If present it evaluated and there is no trigger activity, then the condition is immediately evaluated. If the condition evaluates to false, then the transition cancelled. Okay, and the trigger activity for all transition from the state are rescheduled. So I would request you please like no read this document. This is very important actually. Okay, we'll see that an example, but like no see yeah like no maybe yesterday or like last Saturday I have attended one interview. They asked me only state machine only. They did not ask anything. So that is the reason I'm telling. Just go through this. Um, this would be very useful. Are you able to get it? Everyone. Okay. So what I do, we'll see an example of how to use state machine. Now go to state machine. State machine, a container for using state machine specific activities, contains a start node that can be linked to the initial state of the state machine. You can find out more like no, so it is, and go here. Save it. Go to home page. Go to process. This is why it is. Babu Yogesh, you on your body that camera. We don't want to show state machine. Maybe my battery is dying. State machine created. So we'll see tomorrow, I believe. It is almost 10 o'clock, right? Okay. So we will continue tomorrow. Okay. What about state machine? And then like now we will go to very important topic, RE framework. Okay, friends. We'll see tomorrow. My battery is like going for it.